EA is reportedly very disappointed with how Battlefield 2042 has performed and is looking at all the options when it comes to the title. This is including looking at free-to-play in some capacity. So this is a tweet made by Tom Henderson. So if you guys don't know who Tom Henderson is, he's a pretty prominent leaker, and I wanted to talk about the free-to-play part of that tweet. So as with all rumors and leaks, it's always to be taken with a grain of salt until we get official word from EA or DICE that Battlefield 2042 is going free-to-play in some capacity. We can assume that it's really just speculation. Now, they have a quarterly earnings call, I think, on February 2nd, if I'm not mistaken. So I would imagine we're going to get more information in that quarterly earnings call because they do have to report to their investors, so their major shareholders, on what's happening, what the plan is for upcoming quarters, how they're going to increase revenue streams for EA and the company. So all this information. So I would imagine they're probably going to touch on Battlefield 2042, how it didn't meet their expectations. But I really just wanted to give my opinion on the free-to-play theory of Battlefield 2042. So first and foremost, a lot of people paid, money for Battlefield 2042, which released a little over 2 months ago. Now, first and foremost, even if, for example, if the whole game went free-to-play, the problem with making the whole game free-to-play is right now there's still a lot of issues. So even if they made the game free-to-play to everybody, will they in fact keep the players around with how the game is right now? Like, don't get me wrong, I am having fun every now and then in Battlefield 2042, but you still can objectively see that there's issues with the game, be it bugs or design issues. Now, if they made the game free-to-play, are those people going to stick around with how the game is right now with, pretty lackluster content, especially in terms of weaponry? So yeah, some people might give it a try if the whole game was free to play, but would they really stick around and eventually spend money in microtransactions, which would be the end goal by making Battlefield 2042 free to play? Now, what is probably more likely is they make a certain part of Battlefield 2042 free to play, most notably Hazard Zone. Now, the idea behind this would probably be to get people playing Hazard Zone and then be like, oh, well, this is pretty fun. We're going to go out and, buy Battlefield 2042 or try it through EA Play or EA Play Pro or whatever subscription service there is that allows you to play Battlefield 2042 without actually having to buy the game. Now, the problem with Hazard Zone is, obviously, it's fucking boring. Like, I played a couple of matches of Hazard Zone, and good lord, what a slog of a game mode. It could have been good if they had more time to develop and, really make the game mode fun to play. It's just not fun. It really isn't, with the vehicles just getting melted when you're trying to extract with data drives and all that. I played, I think, 2 matches, and I never even thought about going to play it again. So if they made Hazard Zone free to play, it would be pretty pointless because, one, nobody's playing right now for the simple fact that it's just not really fun to play. But there's a caveat here. A lot of people who purchase Battlefield games aren't looking for an extraction royale type game mode or battle royale type game mode, which could explain why there's not a lot of people playing Hazard Zone. So making it free to play could maybe bolster the number of players in Hazard Zone. Now it's time to talk about the obvious elephant in the room. So people that paid money to play Battlefield 2042. Making a game free to play so soon after having released the game for full price would be a real kick in the nuts, so to speak, to people that actually paid for the product. And regardless of whether they would be sued or not, because as per their terms of service, if you have a dispute, you agree to send details in writing to EA and then arbitrate. You agree that any claim you bring against EA is in your individual capacity and not as a class member, class representative, or as part of a class action. So, as per their terms of service, you cannot file a class action lawsuit against EA if, for example, you felt like you had been cheated by purchasing a product that was then made free to play in a very short span of time after you had paid for said product. So you have to file a personal lawsuit, from what I'm getting from these terms of service, against EA or go into arbitration. Now, there is a little asterisk here. So this section only applies if you live outside of Quebec, Russia, Switzerland, Brazil, Mexico, the members states of the EEA, or United Kingdom and the Republic of Korea. So people who do live in those specific areas could technically file a class action lawsuit against EA if they in fact felt the need to do so. Because they felt like they were cheated out of their money if EA were to make Battlefield 2042 free to play. Now, regardless whether they'd have a ton of class action lawsuits against them or individual lawsuits or arbitration to go through with individuals, the amount of bad PR they would get from making Battlefield 2042 free to play would be insane. If they were to make Battlefield 2042 free to play like right now or tomorrow, for example, they would get absolutely destroyed by every social media platform, every news station. They would just get wrecked. Like, people would be up in arms about making a game free to play so soon after people paid for the product. And you know, the players that are still here waiting for Battlefield 2042 to get better with time, waiting for the first season to drop and see what Battlefield 2042 has to offer, those people, they're gone. They're never going to come back. You have completely lost those people's trust, and understandably, because, you know, people paid upwards of $100 for this product, and even if they offered some kind of in-game currency or skins, I don't think any amount of skins or in-game currency would be enough to appease the paying customers that paid that money only a couple of months ago. So there's a lot to think about in regards of making Battlefield 2042 free to play in any capacity, be it Portal, Hazard Zone, or the entirety of the game. There can be and there would be a lot of ramifications if they were to pull the plug and decide to make any part of Battlefield 2042 free to play. A lot of games do that nowadays, like PUBG. They just did that not too long ago. So after what, 5 years, I think 5-6 years, they finally made the game free to play, and I paid for that game when it was in early access or beta or whatever the hell they called it. And even though they made the game free to play now, I still felt like I, so to speak, got my money's worth because I played it for so long and, you know, had a lot of fun with the game. And now that they do make it free to play, we do still get some form of compensation for the people who did pay for the product. And honestly, even if they hadn't given us compensation for the people who paid for the game, it wouldn't have really bothered me because the game's so old now and I've moved on to other things and I've put so many hours into it, and obviously it was behind a paywall for the longest time, and making it free to play now is just, you know, they're trying to bolster the player numbers and make it available to more people. I'd be fine with that, but making a game free to play only a couple of months after having released it to paying customers, that would be kind of really bad. Yeah, really bad, and really would be an extra slap in the face to people who paid for the product, and even more so for the people who pre-ordered it and pretty much beta tested the game for EA and DICE. But anyways, I'm rambling at this point. I just wanted to touch on the free-to-play topic because it's been going around a lot and people are speculating in all this. I'm just saying, wait for the investor call. That is happening early February, and we're probably going to get a lot more information on what their plan is for Battlefield 2042 and Battlefield as a whole, for that matter. But anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'd like to get a discussion started on this topic, be it positive or negative comments. What are your thoughts on making any part of Battlefield 2042 free to play at this very moment? But hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.